Okay, I think we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am really excited and inspired to chat with you today about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. Um, and the topic that wants to come through today is the dark horse returns. And before I dive into this topic, I want to take a moment to introduce myself in case you are new here. And if you're returning, welcome back. Either way, I'm so happy that you are spending some time with me today. So my name is Helena Das, and I have gone from renegade vet for almost or over 2 decades to horse shaman to um, to keep things simple. These days, I'm just calling myself a spiritual life coach. But at the end of the day, I'm really passionate and devoted to activating women, especially my horsey soul sisters, women who love horses, to their highest potential, helping them remember their magic, their feminine creative superpowers, and know that their desires are their destiny if they so choose. So this topic around the dark horse is really, and I've done a couple other, I'll see if I can remember to link the videos. I've done a couple others, I think at least two others on the topic of the dark horse on one of my channels. I know on the old channel for sure. Anyway, so when I'm referring to the dark horse, there's a really rich spiritualism that spans the multi-dimensional realms from astrology to the to even like the 3D traditional Chinese veterinary medicine, five elements, if you will, water horse. And I'm not going to cover all of that today. If you're interested to learn more about that topic, I will also have a link down below to my Dark Horse Magic Boutique, where I have a Dark Horse Magic bundle, and you can go deeper into this topic. I have a couple of trainings in there, again, that go much deeper, as well as some activation meditations, guided breathwork process, all to help you connect with your inner dark horse. But to try to keep things really simple and give you the heart or the essence of the dark horse. The dark horse represents, for me, the feminine, the magic, the invisible. And the dark horse, as I discovered a few years back, it's been a while now because I've actually been fascinated and intrigued with Chiron, who is AKA the wounded healer archetype and the asteroid that was discovered in 77. That was, of course, the time of like holistic, approaches and mind-body medicine and all of those types of modalities emerging. And there was no accident. And the story around Chiron, which again, I'm not going to go into too much depth, has to do with being rejected by his own mother. So really representing the core wound of separation and rejection, by his own mother. And so, but he does go on to become really this incredible healer and teacher, and spiritual warrior, helping many souls to heal because of his own, journey, his own hero's journey, if you will. And so I went off track there. I discovered that Chiron, this celestial body or asteroid, as some people call it, it's too small to be called a planet, is also referred to as the dark horse planet. Okay. And when I discovered that, it was at a time that, I was doing a lot of work around, integrating my soul wounds and the wounded healer, the Chiron work. And it kind of pulled a lot of pieces together for me. And so what the reason I'm bringing this up, because this is a, timely, if you will, timely conversation. At the date of this recording, this is the last day of July, so July 31st, 2024. And on the 26th, Chiron started to do the back pedal. Chiron started to go retrograde in Aries. I believe it's 23 degrees. And Chiron, this wounded healer archetype, the gift of Chiron, this half human, half horse, and I think I left I have my little centaur on the other desk. Anyway, the gift of this half human, half horse is this whole mind, body, spirit connection, this integration and the healing of our soul wounds and discovering the gifts and our purpose and strengths within the wound, right? Finding the treasure in our trauma. And when we do this inner work and have this understanding around how our greatest pain is actually the portal to our power and our purpose and our prosperity and more, it becomes really a magical ride. So with Chiron going retrograde, in Aries over the next 4 months, really, right, for the rest of this year. And it is such divine timing because I actually didn't plan it. And I find, over the years, this seems to happen more and more, where different offerings and projects, work projects that seem to come through, the divine timing of them it really sometimes blows me away. And I'll tell you a little bit more about it later on, but I do want to plant the seed that I do have a number of ways to go deeper with me if you are interested in learning more about the Dark Horse, from a Dark Horse Magic digital bundle, which is in my Dark Horse Magic boutique, and I'll have the link down below, to a brand new small intimate group mastermind experience called Obsidian, which doesn't start until September, but I am enrolling now. And it's a 3-month program where we will be diving deeper into this work, doing the identity work and the shifting of all of sort of the sub-personalities and old identities, shedding the old skins, right, to really uncover and unleash your true self, which allows you to also become a vibrational match for your soul's desires. So we're going to get into that later on. But as I said, I just wanted you to know about, if this topic interests you, that I have a number of ways you can go deeper with me. So let's see. Let me take a step back here. And the other piece that I want to really address is the fact that Chiron is retrograde in Aries. This is really significant, and especially significant if we think about what Aries represents. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Aries is that sacred warrior archetype. Aries is a fire sign, that fearless, adventure-oriented action taker, right? My moon happens to be in Aries. I'm a Virgo sun, Pisces rising. FYI, let me know what you are down below if you feel like sharing. And so with this Aries energy, the issue of our identity, as I just touched on, is so important. And the soul wounds, how our soul wounds actually influence our identity, right? Whether they create an identity that is, more empowered and confident and abundant, or one that is maybe not so much so if we haven't done the healing or integration work around our soul wounds, right? And so this is why it is so important to, have this understanding, because, I'm even noticing it myself in subtle ways. I've been doing this work for quite some time, but there's always a next level, right? And, that the core wounds or the soul wounds that we have can be anything from like abandonment to rejection to betrayal, abuse, not fitting in, not belonging. And by the way, I do want to mention that, that kind of that black sheep syndrome, if you will, is one of the characteristics, if you want to call it that, or signs of being a dark horse. I have a podcast I did a couple of years back on the 5 signs that you're a dark horse. And I will try to remember to drop that down below as well. But real quick, they have to do with feeling like a misfit, feeling like you are misunderstood, like you don't fit in, that people don't get you. Again, that kind of black sheep syndrome. And then therefore that leads you to kind of being a loner and isolating, right? Because you don't necessarily feel safe or, maybe trust, that others will accept you, right? You kind of feel like you don't belong. I definitely have felt that way for most of my life. And the reason, I connected with the animals, because I felt like they were my safe haven. So anyway, that's the first one. The second one is you are a natural born alchemist, like whether you realize it or not, depending on where you are on the journey, but you are truly gifted and just intuitively you get like the importance of the darkness and the light, and you get how to transmute and transform and play with energies so that you can alchemize shiz and turn it into gold. And again, it is a process and we're all on the journey, but it makes sense to you, right? And it is one of your superpowers. The third sign that you are a dark horse is you're drawn to the goddess, the feminine. Even if it's maybe if you don't resonate with like the feminine, uh you know description, if you will, maybe you're very creative and you're an artist, or you like music, you just have a really creative mind, okay? And or create, you like creating maybe through your voice or through dance or movement, okay, whatever the case may be, but there's this creative element that is there. And you intuitively get this balance of the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. And perhaps you are drawn to exploring, the goddess, the priestess, the empress. The fourth one has to do with being highly intuitive, which these are all connected. But again, the intuitive, the invisible, like you get that a lot of creation is happening in the unseen, right? As creators, we are always first having the idea, right? We have the idea, the inspiration, and then we create, right? Every single thing that was created on this planet, whether it was a building or a spaceship or a piece of art, right, was at first an idea, a thought that was brought to form. And so you do get that the invisible and the unseen and the intangible is really important and is the place and space where magic happens. And then finally, the last sign that you're a dark horse, or that this work, would be really beneficial to you now, is that you have a calling on your soul that maybe you're not clear on, but it won't go away. The nudge is getting stronger. Or maybe you know what it is, but you don't know how to get there. You don't know how to bridge the gap between your current 3D reality and that 5D desire, which lives in the unseen, right? Which lives in the invisible realm. And so that's real, quick 5 signs that you are a dark horse, and that the work of the dark horse, aka Chiron, can benefit you. Because here's the thing, the more in touch you are with those pieces, right? Because of the wounds, right? The wounded healer, Chiron is called the wounded healer archetype, right? Because of those wounds. And if you're a dark horse, a lot of time, some sort of old wound, soul wound, it could be this lifetime or other. But that trauma actually created kind of some darkness in your life, created you feeling different, created you feeling like you don't belong, right? Whatever the case may be. And so that darkness, right, is the portal to the light, right? What is that saying that, we can only see the stars at night, right? So we need the darkness in order to find or channel the light. And so this divine duality, as I like to call it, is so important to understand. And again, if you're resonating, there's a part of you that chances are resonates or gets this deeper truth. Okay. And so, like I said, when I discovered that Chiron, the planet, the asteroid, the celestial body, is actually also known as the dark horse planet, like it just pulled so many things for me together, because my my affinity, if you will, for this rich symbolism of the dark horse, just like all of it, it just came together in the most magical way. Anyway, and all of that being said, again, so we talked about Aries, we talked about Chiron going retrograde for the next 4 months, right, through the end of the year. And when a planet goes retrograde, like we're all familiar with Mercury retrograde, right? And that means we need to, reflect and slow down and watch our technology and communication and all the things, right? Because Mercury is about communication. And more, the mind and how we process or assimilate information. And so since Chiron is about healing, right? When Chiron goes retrograde, that means kind of stirring the pot to really bring up some unresolved issues, some soul wounds, there's no other way to say it, some old hurts that still need some deeper healing or integration. And so, to have this awareness, kind of like, the weather, right? Just to realize that at this time, there may be some events or experiences or people or whatever the case may be that are triggering, any unresolved old soul wounds. Okay. And so if that is going on, again, you definitely want to stay to the end, where I'm going to share about a couple of, timely, time-sensitive opportunities that can deeply support you with this process at this time, depending on when you're seeing this. So, what else? The fact that Chiron is going to be, it's 23 degrees now and then 29 degrees towards the end of December. And actually, and I hope I'm got my numbers right, but it's through the 29th of December also. And that 29 degree, that's towards the end, it's like really bringing everything kind of to a culmination, if that makes sense. So really, the next 4 months is a divine opportunity, a golden opportunity to really do some of the inner work, to look at your core values, to look at your identity, to look at your belief structures. And if you don't even want to approach it that way, like literally, you don't even have to focus on the wound. You can just look at like what in your life is not working, or where are you, not where you want to be, right? Like what soul desire do you have that you feel like, you're taking that, couple steps forward and a couple steps back, where you have this resistance, right? This resistance to your soul's desires. And I want to share a really powerful metaphysical manifesting formula that I learned from one of my coaches. And that is that our desires plus non-resistance equals desired results, right? And so that non-resistance piece, right, that's the gap, right, between our 3D, reality and our 5D desires. And that area of resistance, or sorry, non-resistance, that's what we want to be creating. And because we are creators, right, we are the only species that has this superpower of being able to create, of being able to bring our thoughts into form. I touched on this earlier, right? And so we get to, and if you want to break it down even more, we get to, with our thoughts, with our feelings, with our emotions, with our behaviors and our actions, we get to create our reality one day at a time. Sometimes it's one moment at a time, whatever the case may be, right? And so today, in this present moment, which is the most potent, abundant, powerful moment there is, we have the opportunity to really step into who we came here to be, to step into that timeline that we perhaps want to really step into, right? We can do that in the present moment in so many ways. Again, tapping into our beliefs, where we're looking at our belief structure, which is often BS, right? And it is from the past programming, cultural conditioning, societal norm, generational ancestral patterns, all of these different layers, right, literally create our conditioning. And it is this conditioning that is actually our unconscious that's creating the resistance, right? That's trying to control us and keep us from being unsafe, right? Because everything that we have now, everything that is in our reality, not only has our past and our unconscious created up until now, right? But anything new that we want, anything unfamiliar is unsafe. And therefore, our nervous system and our old identities and our old programming and our subconscious, it's all connected, right? Is going to create resistance unless you know how to work with those energies, right? Is going to create the resistance to you actually, again, gaining forward momentum, closing the gap between where you are and where you want to be. I hope this is making sense, okay? And so it is so important to expand your awareness around what you are creating, and to not judge yourself, right? But just know how powerful you are. If you have something that's going on that's chronic, it could be a health issue, it could be a relationship issue, whatever it is, right? If it's chronic and it feels like this stubborn, repetitive kind of pattern, right? Literally, I want you to know that's how freaking powerful you are. That's how powerful your subconscious is. And imagine when you can get in there and start rewiring, rewriting, recoding that. Imagine you have this divine duality. You can create the absolute opposite, because that's how powerful you are. And so, when you look at these pieces of where you are now, again, and where you want to be, and you start exploring these different layers of resistance and consciously stepping into being the conscious creator, right? So that you start, rewiring your mind, you start practicing and cultivating the art of emotional mastery, right? And managing your vibration, right? And your energy, right? All of these pieces, regulating your nervous system. When you start having the awareness and the tools and the practices, and you commit to doing the work, right? It's not a one-night stand. It's not a quick fix. You don't go to the gym once and work out and expect to have, to be shredded, right? So it is a commitment, and this is why I think it can be so powerful to, have the support of a coach or a mentor or someone like me to really, have a container, to have your herd immunity with like-minded community to share the ride, right? And so I really want you to know, hand on heart, that whatever you desire, not only is it possible, it's actually already done on another timeline. And it is really about you doing this work that I'm talking about, cultivating and creating the conditions of non-resistance, okay? Because again, desire plus non-resistant equals your desired results. Righty? I hope that makes so much sense. So I was trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to mention. Obviously, we have the Lion's Gate coming up as well, which is a whole other conversation, but a really potent ascension portal, abundance portal, abundance prosperity portal. It's another really, really magical event, which I'm not going to go too much in detail here. But that also opened up on the 26th of July. It peaks on the 8th, right? And then it kind of closes out on the 12th of August. And this year it's extra special because of the 888 light codes, which have to do, the number 8 is like infinite possibility, infinite wealth, infinite prosperity, infinite health, empowerment, leadership, abundance, all the things. So within, so without, right? And again, doing this inner work, which will be reflected back out to you. Okay. And so, yeah, I think as far as the kind of the cosmic, the highlights of the cosmic vibes that I feel called to touch on today, there are more, but that's all we're going to go into, because I really wanted this to just be about the dark horse and the Chiron retrograde, and just how important it is to be aware that over the next 4 months, like, depending on where you are on the journey, shiz may come up to stir the pot, to trigger those old wounds. And, like I was saying before, if you don't actually want to approach it from the angle of looking at your wounds, whatever's not working in your life, and I don't think I articulated this that well before, but whatever's going on in your life and wherever you're feeling like, maybe blocked or stuck or stagnant, or like you can't, seem to gain any traction around your desires, I can bet you that that resistance that is, keeping you from your desired results is connected to your soul wounds. Okay. That I hope that connection is actually clear. Okay. Because the resistance, again, is trying to keep us safe. And when we don't feel safe, that's because of old wounds, trauma, beliefs, etc. Right? Because our body remembers, our body keeps score. And so while it may be easy to say, to kind of let go of the past, to forget and forgive and just move forward, there's this very real part of us, of our nervous system, of our brain, of our subconscious, that is like working so hard to keep us safe. And if you don't have the awareness and the tools and the support to do this work, right, I hate to say this, but it's like you're gonna kind of just be stuck in that one foot on the gas, one foot on the pedal, right? And and I get it, because I've been there, and it's one of the reasons that I dove so deeply into all of the Chiron work and the dark horse, because I get what it's like. And there was a time, quite honestly, that I, not only felt lost, I had no sense of self, my identity, when I was going through my transition from my old vet practice into my, following my soul, the calling on my soul, as well as navigating like the health challenges and all of that, which were part of my hero's journey, which helped me, discover Chiron, and those physical issues, it's important. They want me to actually, I'm actually a very gifted channel guide and healer, but something they want me to mention is that, or remember to mention, is that on the physical piece, right, anything that's going on in our body, right? The health, that our bodies are the most dense, right? Again, we said thoughts to form. You were conceived, right? Your parents, you were a twinkle in your parents' eye, right? Before you were actually conceived and born. And so when we actually have physical symptoms or body issues, if you go back in time, right, the times that you either again experienced, traumatic events or stressful events and didn't have the knowledge, the bandwidth, the awareness, the support, you were a kid, you didn't know, right, to actually heal and process those wounds, which are energy, but because we don't know, right, they get stuck. And because I have a background in Chinese medicine and acupuncture, for me, it's like doing energetic acupuncture, the way that I work with clients to help move the energy. And so, it creates, illness, disease, pain, discomfort in the body when we don't know how to move these energies. And the longer something's been around, I did a masterclass a couple weeks ago where I was talking about like there are over a dozen, almost a dozen health issues and signs that you're not living your purpose, aka you are actually have some unhealed, unresolved past wounds or trauma. And they include things like autoimmune disease, depression, anxiety. Just off the top of my head, I don't have the list memorized, but GI issues, bipolar, mental issues, like all of these are just symptoms, right? They're symptoms. It's not your body's fault. You are not broken. Your body's not broken. Your body is just dealing with the energies from those events. But when we can move, process, and integrate these energies, which is, again, one of my superpowers that I really love helping my clients with, you can have miracles of healing in health as well as manifesting your desires happen. And so, just as a couple of examples, I feel called to share about a woman that I worked with who was, let's see, there's so many, sometimes I don't know who to choose, but let's talk about, I'm going to, who do I want to share? I mean, again, sometimes there's just so many. Uh, let's chat about a woman who was literally dealing with anxiety and depression and feeling really stuck and blocked in her spiritual business, right? And when I worked with her and I did my energy scan and I identified the traumatic event that got stuck in her body, right? And we did the energy work and I did the energetic acupuncture, which is what I would just call that, right? Remotely. After we released that energy, moved that energy, within a couple of weeks of doing, this work, all of a sudden, not only did she start feeling better, amazing, like her anxiety and depression was gone, which in and of itself was a miracle, but then all of a sudden, income and clients and business everything started flowing, everything started opening up again. And so this is I just share that example because I want you to know, like, everything is energy, right? Like 80 to 90% of the results that we're experiencing is coming from the energetics. And 20%, we need to take some sort of aligned action, aligned inspired action, right? To really, manifest it in the 3D. However, this energetic piece, which involves everything we've been talking about today, the emotion, the energy, the thoughts, the beliefs, like all of these layers, if we don't address these things, we can take a ton of action, and I've been there, and not get any results, right? And I don't want that for you. And I just want you to know that there is a better way. And again, so if you are dealing with any kind of health or physical issues, definitely to realize that exploring your your soul wounds, exploring your Chiron codes, which I guess I should take a moment to chat about that, can be a really powerful portal to your healing, to your transformation, to your elevation, and uncovering, unearthing your gifts, your strengths, your purpose, and more. So the Chiron codes, as I call them, aka the Dark Horse codes, literally exist in your birth chart, right? You can pull your birth chart, you can look at the placement of Chiron in your natal chart. And the placement of Chiron in your natal chart is literally pointing the arrow to the area of your life where your soul wound is, that it was aligned, like when you were born, the planets were aligned in a particular way that literally we're designing, if you will, some of the characteristics of your soul wound. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, when I discovered all of this for myself and the clients I've done this work with, it really can help give such, not only the healing on a physical level and emotional level, but it also can shed light on your path forward and your purpose. And I do want to take a moment to clarify the word purpose, because I think it's overused. But for me, your purpose is really living your true nature. Your purpose is really being a creator and doing what lights you up, doing what makes you come alive. And that may or may not involve a specific career or vocation, but at the end of the day, it's doing whatever lights you up and makes you come alive. Okay. And so for me, that involves really activating your creatorship, your leadership of being a conscious creator as a primary force in your life, right? Taking the reins and really becoming radically responsible around your energy, your thoughts, your vibration, etc. Okay. And so, I didn't quite mean to go on this long, so I'm going to wrap this up. But just to kind of bring everything together, when you work with the dark horse, your inner dark horse, and the way that I work, because I do channel the collective spirit of the horse, which includes the wind horse herd, codes, source codes. I work with my spiritual oneness support team, and channel really powerful energetic frequencies and light codes that can help the healing for this work be so much more easeful, graceful, and even speedful, is that a word? Happen more, we'll just leave it at more easefully and gracefully, and a more accelerated process depending on what is aligned for you. Okay. And so if this interests you, I want to share with you several different ways that you can go deeper with me and learn more about the dark horse. So the first one, and I think I mentioned it before, is I have a dark horse magic boutique, which is all my digital products. I mean, it's only recently opened it, so it doesn't have everything in there, but I will be adding more as time goes on. But there is a dark horse magic bundle there, which has a couple of my favorite dark horse trainings, dark horse divinity and magic trainings, which also in there I do like transmissions and processes and healing within the training. Anyway, you can read all about that. And I also have a couple of transmissions, if I recall, in there as well. Really powerful, one of them with guided breath work. And all of that will be down below. So that's one. That's a kind of, you do it on your own digital bundle if you just want a little taster and to just learn a bit more about the dark horse, the rich symbolism, etc. Okay. The other two that I really am excited to let you know about are, one, if you again feel like a misfit and you really, you're tired of hoofing it alone and you really want to feel, you know, be part of a like-minded soul herd or community, because that herd immunity is so important to really allow yourself to run with the herd, hang with the herd, okay? And so I am calling in anyone who resonates with being a dark horse, and the metaphysical dark horse symbol that I am using is the black unicorn, because I recently acquired and you may even be able to see it in the corner there on my desk, a really gorgeous obsidian black unicorn, became the guardian of. And anyway, he inspired me to create the Black Unicorn Secret Society. And this one is opening up on the 5th of August. So it's, just a week away. And what this is it's either a 6-month or a 12-month container membership, if you will, where every month you will get bi-monthly activations where I'll be channeling transmissions, both solar and lunar transmissions. For healing, we'll be weaving in medical astrology. So like for the first one, we're in Leo season. We've got the Leo new moon coming up on Sunday on the 5th, actually, or the 4th, the 5th. Anyway, excuse me. And Leo is about the heart. I mean, in medical astrology, Leo is associated with the heart, associated with the back and circulation. Take a moment to clear my throat. And so there will be that will be part of the focus on one of the transmissions. I also will have weekly mini audio trainings in there. There's a private members only podcast, a Telegram group, and more. And I will drop that link down below. I call it BUSS for short, BUSS, my Black Unicorn Secret Society. And again, the gates to that open up on the 5th of August. Okay. And so I really wanted to create like community and to really help those who, desire to have like consistent tools and practices to be raising their vibration, to be, channeling the light, channeling your light. Like my superpower is actually channeling the light to help activate you and your light and your medicine so that you can channel your light and come back home to yourself and really align with your soul. Okay. I'm never going to tell you what to do. I'm really guiding you back home to you and holding the space and the vision for your desires. What else? Okay, so that's the second one. And then the third one is, and this is more of a mastermind experience, it's called Obsidian. And of course, if you're into crystals like I am, Obsidian is all about really grounding, anchoring, like clearing negativity, protection from psychic attacks, and really activating the essence, activating like safety and security with your first 2 chakra centers, right? And so this one doesn't start until September, although I am enrolling now, and there's some cool early bird bonuses, including free membership, 6 months inside of the Black Unicorn Secret Society. And inside of Obsidian, and that includes, group Zoom connection calls, as well as a number of other bonuses. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, when you join the Black Unicorn Secret Society, one of the bonuses is that Dark Horse Magic digital bundle that I mentioned earlier, which you would get for free when you join. Anyway, so in Obsidian, we're going to there's more what do you call it, personalized support, if you will, because we'll have the Zoom connection calls. And the 3 areas that we are going to focus on are going to be, creating that safety in your body, safety in your nervous system, getting you crystal clear on your soul's true desires, not what society or your family or anyone else expects from you, right? Helping you really connect with that. I've met and connected with so many women over the years who just are like so disconnected, they don't even know what they want, right? So, if that's you, like we'll help you do that. And if you already know, we're going to also be working on releasing that resistance, right, towards your desires. So we'll be working on that the first month. The second month, we're going to be working on really kind of integrating some of your soul wounds, as well as having you really, really activate your creatorship, your primary force as a conscious creator, and like owning your vibes, really, and giving you the tools and the practices and the support to do all of that. And then the third month will be really shifting your identity, helping you shed the skins of the old identities, those old sub-personalities that are, like old clothing that are not in alignment with, that your next level, right? Not in alignment with who you are stepping into in your next timeline. That is your desire, right? So again, you can read all about that, and I will drop that link down below. There's also an option to upgrade for for one-on-one support if that's something that you like, which is something I love doing, so I had to include it. And so I think that's all I have for you now. If you feel called, I hope you will join me in, at whatever way feels aligned for you. If you have any questions, feel free to either email me, again, that'll be down below, or DM me on IG. Come visit me there, come say hi. That would be the fastest response or reply, is to DM me on IG. And otherwise, I think I am going to let you go. I am wishing you the most beautiful rest of your day. I love you. Ciao for now. Namaste. Bye. Oops, where's my...